know it was on portrait. I want the footage to show up in landscape. Which I don't know, is it better? Because the picture, I'm filming, the canvas is portrait. And I'm filming it in landscape. Let me see how this looks. Oh, let's see what happens here now. Let me see how this looks. If it looks better, I should go back to portrait. No, this is not it. Nope, that's not it. Reload. Let me see if this is better. Yeah, that's okay. The only difference is I'm not able to see. Oh, shit. Okay, now if I do it this way, I'm not able to get the whole image in there. Where? Maybe I should film this portrait mode. And then get this fucking thing in. Yes. All right. Oops, I messed up there because I wanted to. I'm still gonna show up there. Which I should have just done this and get out. Let me listen to what the hell is what this guy's talking about. What's the date? That's the 6th. This is like way. But this guy said he was talking about me. I want to see what the hell he was talking about. Oh, but now he made the video private where I can't see it. Ain't this some shit? Ain't that some shit? Some of your videos private. Fucking like, what the hell is this talking about? Just 21 hours ago. Talking about me. There's another video.
Tina, which is a gnarly group too. It's 3 cellists from Europe. 4565 Oak Glen Drive, Santa Barbara, California. 93110. Where? Oh, we're gonna need that for the boat. Where Art here, when he was being my dad, I liked it when it was ARTZ. That's what you had. Oh, good. There's another bathroom for the nomaders. We've been trying to find bathrooms. Um, yeah, I liked it better. ARTC. Oh, we're gonna come back. Really told Kurt, listen.
ARTC. What does that mean? What the fuck is this guy talking about? What is this guy talking about?
And like I had to stop this one. I think I took that video down just to piss off Jerry. Jerry, did you see the cops when you followed me all the way uptown and you're yelling at me, it's illegal what you're doing? And I'm like, I do this all the time. You're so funny. Sylvie Doom, you don't come often here, Courtney. You should. Oh yeah, thank you, Courtney Leah. You're new. Please subscribe and I will subscribe to your channel. That's what I do. I love small channels and I love all people. If you're real, you don't come often. Head Shopper says, yes, he does have mental illnesses, but that's okay. Yeah, of course. Except for ASF, and in that video where he asked me to come, right? He actually took my likeness, right? That shot, right, where he's pointing out the Niger word, which I wrote Nigire, and it's an anagram, and it's a really nice one, and I explained it in another video. He didn't look at that video. He took my likeness, the Lord cried, and you'll see it says what? It's when I had 247 subscribers. He's blocking with his finger the E, right? Or he's making it so it looks like the bad N word. He's wearing a cap that makes him look like he's Nigerian, so he's making fun of it that way. And he's telling you from the very beginning that you can't write satire and parody. He just doesn't want you guys to win. He doesn't want the small channels to be able to do anything. The Book of Uma, I do not know Misha really, but he obviously, he has.
I don't know. I should have watched.
Redo another stream, okay?
I should have watched the video when he told me to go watch it, because I was not able to go watch it because but then hold up, but then if I go to history, because I did click on it. I did click on it before. Nope, it's no longer there. Let me see. Nope, that was the. It's not even showing up. Why isn't it showing up in my history? Because I did click on it. Oh, but that wasn't over there. Wait a minute. Let me see something. Do I go that far? Does it go further back? I don't think so. Let me see. What the fuck is going on here? Yeah, I guess he, check what's going on in the news with Ukraine. That's what I want to check out. This was the speech he had yesterday.
Why is Ukraine's accession so dangerous? There are problems. European countries, such as France, think that Crimea is part of Ukraine, and we deem it part of the Russian Federation.
Practical to make those organs in a test tube in vitro. So,
Why is Ukraine's accession so dangerous? There are problems. European countries, such as France, think that Crimea is part of Ukraine, and we deem it part of the Russian Federation. If there are any attempts to change the situation using military means, and Ukrainian doctrine says that Russia is an adversary and that Crimea may be returned by military means. Now imagine Ukraine as a member of NATO. Article 5 is not repealed. To the contrary, President Biden has said recently that this article is imperative. It will be implemented. This means there will be a military confrontation between Russia and NATO. And I asked at that press conference, are we to go to war with NATO? But you're the second part of this, and I'd like to ask you, do you want this war? Do your readers, do your audience want this war? A war between Russia and NATO? This is how it will happen if events run this way. We all care for European security. And
Oh shit. Okay. This one is set up to start watching. The hell?
why is Ukraine's accession so dangerous? There are problems. European countries, such as France, think that Crimea is part of Ukraine, and we deem it part of the Russian Federation. If there are
Then this is 2 days ago, 2 hours ago. 5 minutes.
Now turn to the simmering pressure at the Russian-Ukraine border in the wake of high-level diplomatic talks and just days after the White House warned that Russia could invade Ukraine. Any day now, well, tensions are still running high. Both sides set to begin military drills.
For what you need to know, let's bring in Assistant to the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs, John Kirby. John, thank you for being with us. There has been so much back and forth, mixed messages here coming from the Kremlin, coming from other world leaders. So if you can put this into perspective for us and cut through that, what do you believe Putin wants, and what will it take for him to de-escalate?
Well, he clearly has stated that what he wants is security guarantees, claiming threats to Russia's national security really along that sort of western border with Ukraine. And what he has claimed he needs is, you know, something more tangible than what he appears to be getting, or what he thinks he's getting from the West, from NATO, from the United States. What we've said all along is that Ukraine's sovereignty needs to be respected. This is an independent nation. It's a sovereign state, and to threaten that sovereignty and territorial integrity would fly in the face of the rules-based international order that's been in place since World War II. The other thing that we've said is NATO needs to be respected, and we need to make sure that we're meeting our commitments to NATO. We are a NATO ally, and we take that treaty commitment very, very seriously.
And can you tell for the Americans back here, what does crisis averted look like? Because there are some who speculate that we could be in for a long haul all year of a heightened sense of just conflict here. So what does crisis averted look like?
That's a terrific question. And as we've sat down at the negotiating table with Mr. Putin, we have laid out proposals that we're willing to consider doing, like changing the offensive missile capability structure there in Europe, like altering the size and scale of our exercises if the Russians would reciprocate. And look, you know, Mr. Putin can easily take this crisis and avert it from any further consequences by simply removing some of those forces from his the western part of his country, moving them away from the border of Ukraine, and being serious about sitting down and trying to find a diplomatic path forward. We have laid out that path for him. All he has to do is sit down and take that path. And you know, to your point, we could easily avert the crisis.
Gas,
Can you
40%
explain to
of
the average
gas.
American who's watching all of this unfold what's at stake for that part of the world and what's at stake for
Wouldn't be
our country
surprised.
in this
Well,
potential
somebody's
conflict?
caught up about this.
One of the worst cases here is the
Ukraine is
potential
saying they
for
have
armed
no
conflict,
problem.
for war
Stop
on the European
making it
continent.
seem like it's gonna
And we
be
haven't
a
really seen that play
problem,
out, you know,
man.
since the Balkans in the 1990s. And that's at
Everyone
stake here.
else
I mean,
is,
if he decides to invade Ukraine, it could you know, actually become an armed conflict. And that means casualties. That means death and destruction. It means refugees. It means a potential humanitarian crisis. There's a lot at stake here if he decides to further invade Ukraine. And nobody needs to see that happen. It doesn't have to happen. What also could be at stake here is a chance to really find some diplomacy here, to find a way through this in a peaceful way that doesn't resolve in those kinds of conflicts and those kinds of deaths or civic destruction. You know, it's interesting. One of the things Mr. Putin says is he doesn't want to see a strong NATO, and we know he would love to see NATO divided, but he doesn't want to see a strong NATO on his western flank. Ironically, that's exactly what he's getting, because as he continues to make these threats, as he continues to build forces up along that border with Ukraine and in Belarus, and now he's well up over 100,000, what he's done is solidify the alliance. He's actually brought the alliance even stronger together than it was before. And as you can see, not just the United States, but other countries are now putting forces on NATO's eastern flank. So the very thing he says he doesn't want, he's actually getting through these actions.
And sir, one other thing, I don't want you to necessarily draw a line just there at the border, but is there some line that Putin could cross into Ukraine that will signal to the U.S. that he has gone too far, not just physically too far, or will it take some kind of violent and armed action? You get what I'm saying? Hey, can he just be to a point that we consider this is an invasion, this is an act of war, or will there have to necessarily be some type of actual force?
President Biden, I think, has been really clear on this. Any incursion into Ukraine, any violation of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity would trigger severe and significant consequences, not just from the United States, but from the international community, who largely have an economic nature. And again, it would certainly even further solidify NATO and would probably engender additional moves by NATO allies to shore up that eastern flank.
We know you are a busy man. John Kirby, Assistant to the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs, and we appreciate your time in joining us on the program today. Thank you.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA. to your point, we could easily have been there. And as we sat down at the Space International frame, and
Right. Set the camera, I don't have this stuff. Maybe I should just use the other camera and log in that way to the internet. But that's slow it down. I probably will get the quick. Matter of fact, let me do that. Where's there it goes. Where's the cable? Let me do that. And that'll be better. That'll be better for one because I'm connected through. Yeah, let me do it that way. Let's try that. Let's see if
Okay, the fourth in our series of habits of highly effective impressionists.
let's
It's
just
all
try
goals
that
and
and see what
stuff.
happens.
The start is this huge thing that has everything to
Let's
do
try
with
that.
the picture going forward.
Yeah, let me try that. Let me connect
The
this way.
respect for the ensemble, for the thing painted as a
Yeah,
whole is
let's do
vast.
that.
It's like the underpinning of
Maybe
the
I'll
entire
come over
picture.
here.
So you'll see as we go through these points,
How
the
the hell?
goal in the start is sets the
Thing like
stage
this
for everything
is-
you do going forward. And so this is one of those things, and again, I'm gonna give you this as a
Okay, so-
Boston School / Paul way of thinking. But you'll find the corollaries through all of Impressionist work.
Okay, let me
There's this
see.
need to be all over the place at once in the start, for example. And you'll see all the things I've talked about. So let me show you
Okay,
this
there
one
you
picture.
go.
I'm gonna jump around with the images I have here. This is a tarbell. There's several tarbells here and
Okay.
a couple, and I think they're all tarbells except this one model.
Let's log in this way.
Here's a
With
tarbell.
this
You can see
camera
it's a
with
star. This is a
Logitech.
light. And these are the kind of things
Let's
that
see
might
how
have
the
happened
footage
in one
looks.
day, one second. And I haven't seen these in
Instead of
person.
using the
In
tablet.
person, you can see whether there's wet paint on dry in a lay-in. You can actually make out where that's happening. You can see it in, for example,